Or do we want to continue with the discussion?
So, we all know that on July 8th, there was a resolution passed by this legislature to sell the property to the Buonos. Right? Am I saying that right, Doug? The resolution provided that $185,000 would be turned over to the county and the property would be turned over to the Buonos. To date, it's my understanding that that money has not been received and no closing has taken place. It's also my understanding, after talking to the county executive, that he had asked the treasurer not to accept any payment from this point on as a due date that he had given the Buonos last week sometime. My question to Doug would be, number one, if that can't happen because it's a legislative decision, we could ourselves, through resolution, either rescind or put a motion or put a resolution up to rescind at the next full board meeting or a special meeting to either rescind, but up at any time up until that point, if the closing takes place and the money's done, then it's sold property and we're done with it. Is that correct?
I would say so, yes.
Because you said that we can't.
The resolution was duly adopted, and it stands as
My suggestion would be if because this legislature is not happy with the fact that this hasn't occurred yet and taken place, that I either call a special meeting or at the next full board meeting, put that resolution forward. And if the person comes in and pays between now and then and it closes, then it's a done deal. There's nothing we can do. And
Barb and
Thank
Joe.
you. I actually would support the county executive because at this point, one of the reasons why back in July, over 60 days now, I agreed to sell the property is because for taxes, get it back on the tax rolls. Now, even if they did come in well after they were told repeated deadlines and they still haven't met those deadlines, again, we are now liable for the school tax bill. And I believe it's either New York state law or local law that they don't take possession, they don't utilize the property, and they have. So I think that this has been many issues that I would like to either have a special meeting to unite with the county executive and correct this error.
Joe?
May I address the attorney? May I address the attorney? Has any legal work been done on either side yet, substantially? Preparation of deeds, preparation of whatever?
the county is ready to close.
How about on their side? Have they done any searches or whatever they have?
I have been told that they have. However, I wouldn't typically see that material. I can't absolutely verify what has been done. Really, with this type of sale, from the county's perspective, once our paperwork is ready, all that needs to occur is they would have to bring the requisite amount of money to the treasurer.
Thank you.
Legislator Dunn.
And if I may, a letter to that effect was sent out by the treasurer's office in August with a date of August 20th, I believe.
what did the 20th represent?
Contact the office by the 20th to close,
Oh,
or words to that effect. I don't have the letter with me.
I had spoken to one of the principals today, yesterday and today, and he had just flown up from Florida, and from my understanding what he said, the bank and the attorney were all meeting there today, and they'll be ready to close within 24 hours. So I think it's kind of a moot point. There was different reassessments. It's in a flood zone. There's a lot of things that hold those types of things up besides our own delays. They had the property, they didn't have it, they had one piece, now they have three. So it's a convoluted thing that I think will be resolved probably by the end of the week. But to Matt's point, if I think also, if there was something you wanted to do with that property, they'd be willing to sell a portion that is developable. They're just interested in protecting their property on the one side. So I think that's an option that's definitely open. In fact, we're the ones that forced them to take all three. They were just interested in one closest, and they were willing to make the other property whole for development. So.
Got a couple things. I'm gonna ignore a couple things, including all the constituent calls I've gotten and hearing loss I've had from them screaming at me through the phone. But at least I could remind them what the voting record was. This took place on May 13th, and whether it should have never been sold as 3 parcels. The legislature was never informed of the parcels going up for foreclosure, so there was no way that we could have said, well, somebody made a mistake here. The auction house made a humongous mistake in selling them as 3 separate parcels. They should have been sold as one. They're one property. But you know what, in talking to other people, different auction companies have sold houses straight down the middle before. So that's a moot point in my point of view. It's one parcel. It should have been sold as one parcel. They claimed that they wanted the entire parcel as one. So that was May 13th. That was the tax foreclosure. On May 27th, we accepted all bids except for one because the auction company had made the mistake. And all the payment, the balance for all other auction properties was due 30 days thereafter, June 27th. It wasn't until July 8th that the legislature voted to accept the bid on parcel 43, contingent upon Buono Holding purchasing parcels 41 and 42 for $50,000. Now that was July 8th. It's September 9th now. So unfortunately in the terms it does specify a date and not a time limit. So there's no way we can say that that term was broken. But I would like to say that it's beyond reasonable doubt that the intention of the June 27th date was a 30-day limit to come up with full payment. Also looking at the auction terms, auction term number 7 specifies, quoting, possession and access to property is forbidden until the deed is recorded with the Montgomery County Clerk conveying title to purchaser. The county took possession of the parcel April 10th, according to our county real property database. So since April 10th, and it's September 9th now, so 5 months, the county has turned a blind eye as a private business entity has used 5 acres of county-owned property. No matter if it's one private business entity or multiple. On August 6th, we received a communication from our clerk at the legislature that state troopers had to be called to the parcel because there was a squatter living in the buildings, but they went by and we were okay with them driving right by all the tractor trailers parked on the property. There's also auction term number 10 states that successful bidders that have agreed to purchase property or properties shall within 18 months of delivery of deed bring property up to New York State and local building code. The reason I mention this one is so that all of you are aware. It seems this is presumptuous on my part, but I hope we all are aware and hope that we would all enforce this term that within 18 months this property needs to be brought up to code, no matter how much money that costs. That's part of the terms. The bidder knew that going into it. They also knew that they weren't supposed to be in possession of the property or have access to the property until the deed was delivered. You know, it just seems like it goes on and on when we are questioning whether to withdraw, to rescind this bid. There's one very clear term violation of the auction. I don't know where the question lies. You know, it's frustrating because, you know, this is my home district. I have to see this every day, and I'm really confused by it, and I don't know where the problem is. We know there was a problem with the auction, but April 10th, 5 months, we've been letting a private business use county-owned property, which is at the sole discretion, according to NICE Act, with the veto power, I should add, of the county legislature. I don't remember any of us granting permission for anybody to use that property. It's riverfront, there's a pool on the property, it's flood damage, there's huge liability. I know I'm new here, but I don't know what I'm missing. You know, we've got a bidder that's broken terms on multiple occasions, and this has just gone on too long.
Roy?
I appreciate Legislator White's point. The thing is, this has nothing to do with the auction. Except for myself, everyone rejected that bid.
Incorrect.
No, it is correct. We have a new resolution offering the sale. It wasn't part of the auction. So you can bring all the auction terms in you want. That's not pertaining. And I agree that there's several companies using the lot over there. It's not just BYM. So, you know, I get off that exit every day. I see the trucks, campers, whatever over there.
We can debate all night what happened 5 months ago, what happened 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whether or not it's with the auction, under the terms of the auction or not. And I'm not saying this out of disrespect to anybody. The point is, we now have a property that's still unpaid for. I think Doug's answered the question that we can't necessarily stop payment, because that's not what the resolution said. In my little world here, we have a choice to either continue or call a special meeting rejecting, or wait till the September 30th meeting and let me put it on as, and if they buy it in that period of time, they buy it, and if they don't, then we rescind. I mean, but to rehash it over and over, but I just think, you know.
Can we just call a special meeting? If we don't receive payment by Thursday, can you call a special meeting for
Call a
next
special
week?
meeting for it.
I mean,
You
we're
gotta-
all
you gotta-
going to be
you gotta
here
be
next
within
week.
the guidelines of the press, which is going to take you, whatever that takes, Cheryl. I don't have a problem doing that, but just to keep rehashing what happened at that auction.
We're all going to be here next week for the budget
When's the
meeting.
soonest we can have a special meeting?
Have it next Tuesday.
All right. Chairman, would you be in favor of calling a special meeting to,
Roy just said they're understanding that if they come in tomorrow, I
That's
think what
right.
Doug's saying is that they pay.
that's absolutely right. We can't,
He said that. I don't
All
have
right.
a problem calling the special meeting
All
on
right.
the 30th of September or.
no, it's a moot point.
I have one point, just to set the record straight, resolution number 158 of 2015, as amended by legislator Kelly and seconded by DeChessie, is a resolution accepting auction bid on parcel 43. That amendment passed, and the resolution passed with aye 7. Legislator White voted nay. Legislator Kuchis was absent. Dated July 8th, 2014.
Okay. So now we're going to go on to what we're here for, the wonderful budget. We have the treasurer here, we have the executive here. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the budget in the past almost week? Any questions that we'd like to have answered, or?
Just wanted to know quick, you're going to be getting some additional backup. There'll be a hard copy available tomorrow, and it will be emailed out in the morning. Some of the justifications for changes from last year to this year that were not in the packet that you received. So we'll get that to you first thing in the morning.
Is that your?
When you say, do we have questions? I have questions, but I can go see Sean, so I don't waste everyone's time. My specific.
I was just giving back up tonight, Mr. Chairman, so I'd like to go through everything.
All right, now, when is our public hearing? Sorry. Is it next Tuesday at 5?
I can help you tonight, or
I mean-
not in the office, that's fine, too.
I mean, you came all this way, so like for example, emergency management, there was,
Barb, hold on.
sorry.
It's,
We are scheduled to have a public hearing September 16th, which will be next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Now, I mean, you guys choose to have more discussion, that date can be back. But we would not be in line with the charter.
well, we're going to have 2 public hearings.
Yes. The second one is September 30th.
Okay. I think we're having a public hearing and then continuing on with the budget process. Everyone else all right with that? Yep. I think we can continue on with the schedule that's set. I think.
In accordance with our timeline, the Budget and Finance Committee shall file a report with me by Thursday, September 25th,
So that gives
of
us
your
2 weeks.
recommendations of changes.
That gives us 2 weeks. So while you guys are in NISAC, we will be on phone conversation. I think we'll be all right. Barb, sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine. I mean, what I have, to go to emergency management, and I haven't even gotten to the bottom, but I'm above 21,000. So normally we have the backup documentation, so I wouldn't be wasting your time, but Matt's gonna get it to us tomorrow, and thank you so much, Matt. Looking at it, miscellaneous supporting services, $3,054. What is that?
That's to implement
The 211.
211 system for emergency situations.
The 211 thing. Okay, I'm sorry, Matt.
Page 3.
Page 3.
Thank you, budget.
The diesel and gas, it went from 35 to 65. Is that because they're going to be doing a lot more traveling, or because gas for the most part has been pretty much the same? I mean, it's still massively expensive because they're going to be doing so much more traveling, or it's
I believe the big change there is in the past few years, it's only been the emergency management coordinator that has had a vehicle.
okay.
The situation we have now is the emergency management director has a vehicle, and the fire coordinator has the other vehicle that was purchased by the county. So
Gotcha.
in essence, you have twice the number of vehicles on the road
Gotcha.
pretty much every day.
I gotcha. Now, I know that the food supplies went from 450 to 1,000, but that's because of the emergency, because the center needs to. So that I actually kind of figured before I even asked, but Matt answered that for me earlier. The clothing and uniforms, because it's a department that I care about, I can kind of assume what it is, but because you're so involved, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
What that is mainly for is, it's for the investigation team.
Okay.
And just to give you an idea, these outfits, which is specialty clothing, they can range upwards of $2,000 a set.
Yeah. Must have
And-
been-
And really what Jeff wanted to emphasize was that when we arrive at a scene or whatever the situation may be, that our emergency management people have that professional, look, and that we're all wearing the same, we can be identified and all that.
They're visible and able to be
Right.
identified.
Got it. And I also know that some people have always bought their own or whatever else, so I think that that's great.
And Barb, just back on the gas and diesel.
Yep.
One thing we want to keep in mind is this is Department 2, Emergency Management is now also the fire service.
Yes, so there's
So-
$20,000 more.
Right,
Yeah.
but they also were budgeted $2,000 last year for gas and fuel, so you're not seeing that large of an increase in their gas and fuel. And another thing, the legislature has to abolish the fire services department, according to what I'm understanding, since we're merging them under the emergency management.
Gotcha.
We're making that one department.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. The special supplies matter for 2,000?
I feel like I'm playing Jeopardy.
Is that just more?
I don't have the background.
All right, yeah. And the training, which probably they limited because they were cut so much throughout the years. The fact that it only had 5,000, I probably don't even need it. So I don't even need anything more. Any questions I have, I'll come to you because I'm sure the backup recommendation will answer all of it. Thanks for coming.
I think that's the last.
Yes?
Speaking with Jackie and Cheryl today, I believe there's going to be, we're starting to formulate a resolution in our office for corrections. Things that we know need to be, not necessarily adjustments to the budget, but I think one of the things was we were just talking about. The insurance, the liability, I think it ended up in your budget, Matt, needs to be in ours. Is that correct?
But I think at the very least, there's a discussion that needs to be had there. I'm not sure we're at a point of consensus, but I think there's a discussion that needs to be had between the two directions.
Maybe that was a bad example. I think there's a contingent.
The contingent account
Yeah.
and the outside agencies.
The outside agent, you know, there's certain things that I think that we're starting to formulate a resolution that will, you know,
Well,
they're corrections more than anything, probably. Like you were talking about eliminating the department that's no longer existing.
yeah. Terry?
I have a question for Matt.
Sure.
The Office of the Aging, did they submit a budget that had no increase in it? Okay. I think your presentation said that they were, and I heard this summer that they have a problem, there's some elderly people out there not getting meals.
Correct.
So are we gonna look into correcting that? or-
Yes, that was, the Meals on Wheels program is about, it's about 150,000, I think, more than their total appropriation. There's about 150 people on the waiting list. I think the total it would cost is about $350,000. We just
Okay.
can't afford to subsidize that.
Okay.
I think the solution is going to be maybe we, and I thought we would discuss this, and we'd probably bring David during the public hearing.
Okay.
Give a presentation on it. I think there's some things we could do when we look at this human services umbrella. And I don't want to order one tonight because they're packing up. But there's some things I think we could do that the county can partner to cut costs to bring that list down. But just to simply subsidize it at this point, I think it's a viable option.
Okay, thank you.
I do have one question myself. I was told today that there's a constitutional tax cap that each county passes that is different from the property tax cap that
There's a constitutional tax margin, yes, and we are not, we're only at, well, based on this budget, probably only at 60% of that.
Okay.
What that is that limits the amount that the tax levy can pay.
right.
Well, see, we're not close to that. This other tax cap actually is actually even preventing us from getting close to the constitutional tax margin. But if you want to stop in, I can show you that calculation
Okay.
based
Yeah.
on this budget.
Yeah. That was just, okay. Any other questions? I'll entertain a
I had
motion.
this discussion. I received a call from one of my constituents, and we inquired about Matt's presentation about the motor vehicle fees. And one of the things they thought it was a good idea, they thought adding to that, as you know, I'm in the rural area, the town of Root, town of Canterbury. They were interested in a fee for the Amish buggies because they do impact the roads. Our sheriff's office investigates accidents, and also they do leave things behind that the DPW has to clean up. So one of the things they thought to throw out for discussion was a possible fee like we would charge the registration, would it be $10 or $25, whatever it was. So just wanted to mention that as part of the budget process.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's seen the roads in some of these areas that are heavily traveled by buggy.
Brand new roads, ruts and.
It's a great idea.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, take a drive in Glen and
I mean,
Root.
this deep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Any other discussion items?
Maybe we can barter with them, they can make desks.
I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, I can only stay on my best behavior for so long. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right.